enjoy the journey.
Ooh.
We all need to have goals and like a destination that you're going towards. But if you only care about the destination, then and you're like, just kind of gritting through the journey, honestly, the journey is the majority of your life. Do you want to grit through and not enjoy, the majority of like your waking hours in your life just to get to this destination?
Welcome to Life Unleashed,
The podcast all about creating the best life for you and your furry best friend.
If you're a dog mom on the go, juggling life, work, and the endless joys of being a dog parent, then you're in the right place. I'm Dani.
And I'm Nick.
And together with the incredible dog mom community from Tails Up Pup, we're here to share advice, stories, and the obsession we have over the love for our dogs.
Get ready to laugh, learn, and lean on each other because life with your dog just got even more awesome.
Welcome back. Today we are coming in with a little inspiration.
This is a really fun, interesting episode, and I'm going to recommend that you guys end up doing this for yourself. So listen through this and then maybe do this exercise for yourself afterwards.
We are each going to share 5 things we would tell our younger self, basically life lessons that we've learned. We know that we are still young, but you can constantly learn from your past. We've lived almost 30 years now, and we are looking back, reflecting, and trying to, get in a good mindset for 2024. So we wanted to reflect and see what we could learn from ourselves, and then maybe you can learn something from it. And like Nick said, you could do this for yourself and then hopefully inspire yourself to do something new in 2024.
I cannot remember what sparked us to actually do this exercise, but I do remember, like, I read about this many, many years ago. I did this exercise for myself in college, and the person that I read from it about, I don't remember the person's name, but basically it was like doing this exercise, like thinking about your younger self, but actually to take this advice and apply it to yourself today. Because it's like, you're kind of like trying to mentor yourself in a way, but it's really hard if you're like, what advice would I give myself today? It's like, well, that's kind of, I think, a harder thing to wrap your head around. But if you're like, oh, what advice would I give myself 10 years ago? Well, that's a little bit easier to be like, oh, just because you know what's happened the last 10 years. So I think that's kind of helpful.
So should I go first?
Yeah, go first.
Okay. I would tell myself that you need to embrace failure and almost use it as a stepping stone and learn from your mistakes. And I mean, with this is so much easier said than done. And you really can't use this in the moment. You have to look back later on. Like, as you're failing in that moment, sometimes you do think, oh, like, where's this going to get me? Why did I do this? How did I get here? Those type of things. But you can't use it as a stepping stone to do something good with it until much later on, once you more understand the whole situation. But it is good to embrace failure. And without failure, without mistakes, then you're not going to get anywhere because you're not pushing yourself to new limits. You're not trying new things. And really, this goes hand in hand probably with like another one, I would say, of just go for it. And that is probably my most common thing that I say to people when they ask me for business advice of like, I want to start a business, but what should I do? The thing that holds people back the most is starting, just doing it, not perfecting everything. You just got to go for it. And with that, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail because for the most part, you're nervous and you won't do it because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, the failure one, that really actually hits home with me now that you're saying that. I'm very scared to fail, to look stupid.
Everyone is.
To be that beginner. It's so hard to put yourself in that that zone that you're really uncomfortable, but that is so necessary to learn any new skill no matter what you're doing.
Personally, I think it's easier to fail if I have someone with me who is almost like a supportive person, even if they're not fully involved. Like, for example, if I wanted to do a box jump at the gym and I wanted to go a level higher, I wouldn't do that if I was by myself, because if I fall, that's embarrassing. But if I do it while my friend's next to me, it's way less embarrassing because then we can laugh about it. Or if I need someone to help me get back up off the ground, I have someone to help me,
Right.
It's just easier, all things in life. Doing this business with you and doing life with someone, it's nice to have a partner who's in it with you.
Yeah, someone that really supports you, that you're not really afraid to look stupid in front of. But I even think about learning a foreign language, which what I'm about to say makes literally no sense, but you guys this might resonate with you. If you've never spoken a certain language, let's just say Spanish, for instance. Okay, well, no, let's use Italian because I was trying to learn Italian briefly. That first few times that you sit down and you're trying to learn, you feel so stupid trying to like say the things, and like honestly you're like you don't even want to try your full effort or whatever because you're so scared to like make a fool of yourself, and like I sound stupid when I'm saying these words, and like you basically just give up.
I also think that when you're starting something, it takes consistency and you don't see the reward. And so that can be really hard to just go for it and start too, because you do it one time and you're like, well, I didn't see any results from it. Like sometimes you have to do things for a long time before you see results, and you have to know that, but it's very hard because you want results quick.
Well, I feel like, yeah, that's anything that's worth doing. Like it's going to take a lot of time, effort, and work to get that result. While I'm saying that I do struggle with that, one thing that really has helped me is like doing, like kind of setting those micro goals along the way of like, I'm just going to get through this. Like, say for working out, you're like, I want to get in shape, for instance. And you're like, honestly, if you go to the gym every day for even a month, you're not going to see that much result. It takes 3, 4, 5 months of like consistent going. But, for this workout or whatever, these are the reps that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do them. And, then I'll be able to check off, and that's my micro goal. And then for the week, I'm going to make sure that I work out the 5 times a week. And these are the, exercises that I'm going to do for this week. You check off the week for the goal. And then, you stack that up over 5 or 6 months. Now you have change.
Yeah, micro goals are a great way to get to the end of a big goal too.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? If you're failing, that means that you're trying, and trying is the most important thing, because you'll never get anywhere if you don't actually go try something.
Yeah, if you just stick in your same routine and don't do anything new, then you're going to get bored, you're going to get stagnant, and you're not going to achieve much in life. So you got to go for it. You got to, even if you're not guaranteed to succeed, you got to go for it sometimes.
You know what? Actually, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I love this. I think school actually sets us up like kind of to view failure as a bad thing. Like if you get like answers wrong on a test and things like that, you're not applauded for that. You're not applauded for trying. If you're like, no, you get a bad grade. A really good teacher is obviously, and I definitely had some that like when you put they're like effort-based teachers almost. And so like if you put the effort in and you did, the work or whatever, you may not still get the best grade or whatever, but they at least applauded you for your effort and, trying hard. But if you are just being graded on like your outcome or whatever, that can be really discouraging.
Yeah. Okay, so that would be my number one. Embrace failure, and it's kind of 2 for 1, and just go for it. You got to do it sometimes.
Okay, my first one is do not stress out so much. It is going to work out.
You got to take your advice right now.
I know, this is some, that's kind of the purpose of this exercise is, again, for yourself today. Even though like I know that has worked out over the past 10 years, that is still one of the hardest things for me to like, Nick, take a breath. It's going to work out. It's going to be okay. You got to do the work, but it's going to work out. And, the path is going to lead you in the right direction.
And we live a very stressful life because we are setting our own path by creating our own business that's not been done before, and really just figuring out as we go, where someone who goes to a traditional job has somewhat of a roadmap of what they're doing and where they want to be. So I do think we have a little bit more added stress than the average person.
I have a great quote for this one.
Okay.
We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca is the person who said that, which is a Stoic philosopher. But I think that is so true. This is like so many circumstances, literally so many circumstances in our life, whether it's traveling, I'm so stressed, before I go on a trip, whatever. Most of your stress is coming from imagined things in your mind that is almost guaranteed not going to happen.
Girls fall into that a lot, thinking about what other people are thinking, or like what they're wearing, or like, that kind of stuff. And it's like really no one's thinking about you as much as you're thinking about yourself.
Yeah, we suffer way more in like our and I think that is a like evolutionary type like defense mechanism. If we weren't worrying about things and we're just super happy-go-lucky, nothing bad's gonna happen, you could get yourself into trouble. I think stress to a certain extent is a important thing, because that's kind of the stress gets you out of bed and gets you moving, gets you to do the work sometimes when you may not want to do it or when you're tired, but like it can go, and for me has gone way overboard sometimes. And you know what? Take the advice. It's going to work out okay. Don't stress out so much.
Okay, my next one is health is wealth.
Health is wealth?
Health is wealth.
Okay.
Prioritizing your health in whatever aspect that is for you. But for me, really, it was going on the diet and getting my body back in check, and going to the gym and making that a priority at least 4 days a week. And I feel like my anxiety is better, my brain is better, like everything is more on track, and having a routine is great. But you have to make strides in your health to have a better life.
Can I jump on the bandwagon on this one? Danielle and I made our list totally separate from each other. One of mine is making exercise a priority, so we're going to talk about that in conjunction with the health is wealth.
Okay.
So for me with exercise, my advice to myself is a little bit different, but that is making exercise a priority, specifically when you're busy. And this is my biggest problem in college. I like packed my schedule so full, and I always would say, I don't have time to work out.
I was going to say that's people's biggest excuses. I don't have time.
I honestly now, and I truly was a believer in that, and that's what I was living. Honestly, you don't have time not to work out. I don't have time not to work out, because when you work out, you have more energy, your mental health is better. It is, with that more energy, it allows you to be so much more productive and to get so many more things done. And ultimately, if you continue for years and years of saying, I don't have time, eventually your health is going to slow you down, and actually you will have no choice. You're going to be sick. You're not going to be in good shape, and you're not going to be able to do a lot of stuff.
And if you feel like you don't have time, then find a class, find a gym that is convenient for you. If it's next to work, if it's next to your house or very close by, you're way more likely to go. If you have to go out of the way, then you're not going to go as often. If you're someone who can work out at home, then that's great. You can go home and do it. But personally, I'm not determined. I'm not motivated by myself. So working out at home is not great for me.
There are very few activities that are as high leverage for like overall wellness as working out, because what I have found for myself is when I work out, I eat better, I sleep better, I drink more water, and just overall like
your brain is better too.
My brain is better. And so like this one activity, even if it's just 30 minutes of like a kind of intense exercise every day, that leads to all those other habits falling in place. And when I don't work out, I am much more likely to not sleep good. I'm much more likely to eat more sweets. I'm much more likely to, be like, you know what, I'll just have, I'll get fast food, every day. Because when you're working out and if you try to eat fast food, you're like, I do not feel that great and I can't, work out that well. But you almost like crave the healthier stuff when you're working out.
And with the health, I feel like we can dabble in the topic of alcohol. If you drink a lot, you're not going to feel as great. It is a known fact, and I'm just here to spit the facts. Like, if you can drink less, create better habits, you're going to feel better, your brain's going to be less foggy, and you're going to have more energy to do other things. And then also, if you're saying you don't have time to go to the gym and work out, think about the things you have to do, like work. Okay, if you work 9 to 5, your commute is an hour, then okay, 7 to 6 are off limits. So, can you wake up earlier and go? Yes. Do you want to? No. Is it uncomfortable? Yes. That's probably why you're telling yourself no. But you got to get up and try it before you know if you literally cannot do it or not. If you have kids, then you can find a gym with daycare, or you can communicate with your partner and say, okay, I'm going to work out in the mornings. You're going to work out at nights. Like, communication is also key.
The other thing that about working out that is good is that gives me like a win for the day, and that's something that like I can always be, even if my day is like really not that good, I'm always proud of myself at the end of the day when I complete my workout and do it. I always feel better afterwards, like from like you get the workout endorphins, all that stuff. My mood is always better afterwards, no matter what type of day I've had pretty much. But then that's kind of like the, you look in the mirror, I'm proud of myself, for actually accomplishing and doing this hard thing. And no matter what, I'm doing that every day. And it's nice to have something that you're proud of yourself every day.
And I don't know if it's proven or not, but for me personally, it is that it will help with your mental health and those endorphins that you're talking about. Like, I am just so much more clear-minded, better feeling, like I'm just a happier person when I consistently work out. And it doesn't even have to be something crazy. If you're not in it to lose weight or to build muscle or whatever, like you can just go on a walk, like do whatever is best for you. Maybe you just need fresh air, vitamin D, like whatever it is. Find out what it is that is good for you, and then you can do that.
And if you're a dog mom, getting out in nature with your dogs, that is one of the things that I am a huge believer in. It's so nice to just get out there and, breathe the fresh air. And you know what? Your dogs love it.
Yeah.
Honestly, Holly and
the dogs
Gracie
need the exercise too.
They need the exercise too. And I think probably all the benefits for them, go the same with us for the exercise. And it's just something that this year, really, I've made it a habit. And Danielle, it's only been a few weeks of the year, but I've gone at least once a week with them on a hike.
And it's amazing you can do that while it's cold out, because I do not like to be outside when it's cold.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, that was a little fun 2 for 1.
Yeah.
So
my next one kind of relates to something we just talked about. My next one is balance is key. And really, I'm thinking about the alcohol talking in that. Like, if you still want to drink alcohol, that's totally fine. And balance is key. Same thing with dessert. Like, don't completely cut it out. You're going to be miserable. It's not realistic. And you're probably going to end up swinging the opposite way and overindulging. So just have a little bit. And if you can't, then you got to figure out ways to cope with that and how you can have a little bit. Nick is not so great at that. Nick is an overindulger in most things, and that's just in his DNA. But he is learning to have portion control.
Yeah, this is one that I need to hear. Balance is a hard thing for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
You're an extremist.
I'm an extremist. I'm either kind of like an all or nothing. I'm an all or nothing person.
Yeah.
I'm either not interested at all or I'm like very interested.
Or he'll eat the whole gallon of ice cream or none of it.
Of course. That's just the way that it's done in the Karras household by me.
It's very different from me. So it's hard to help inspire someone who I know, like, is an overindulger. It's very hard to teach you how to have balance.
But this is one thing that I think most things have good and bad sides. For like the business, for instance, me being unbalanced and wanting to work really hard and devote all my focus to this has been, I think, a positive thing.
Are you saying I don't do that?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you're not balanced when it comes to work.
Why?
You
oh yeah,
you
devote, not balanced.
Right.
Yeah.
So you still are exhibiting the trait that we're kind of saying that like maybe you shouldn't exhibit and everything.
Yeah. Balance is key.
Balance is key, but sometimes you have to lean into certain life stages and certain things. Sometimes if you're like, this is my goal and I'm going full blast at it, you don't need to be balanced. You need to go full after it, and sometimes that's good for you.
And we were talking about meal prep recently, and I feel like with that, balance is also key. It's okay to go out and eat every once in a while, but if you're going out all the time, most things aren't cooked very well out at restaurants anymore, so you're probably not going to be consuming things as healthy as you would in your home. So you just need balance. It's okay to go out, but probably don't go out every day. We just watched that old documentary, what's it called? Super Size Me, and it was fascinating. I don't think I've ever seen it. It's so old, but it is crazy that what can happen to your body when you're eating fast food all the time.
Okay. I guess this is my third one now, is enjoy the journey.
Ooh.
Enjoy the journey. And honestly, I think the biggest reason for that is so often we all need to have goals and like a destination that you're going towards. But if you only care about the destination, and you're like, just kind of gritting through the journey, honestly, the journey is the majority of your life. Do you want to grit through and not enjoy, the majority of like your waking hours in your life just to get to this destination? You do have to have delayed gratification, but I think you need to figure out ways to enjoy like the process and the journey versus just caring about the mountaintop. And the other thing is, and you see this all the time, what happens when you achieve that goal or that mountaintop? If you didn't enjoy the journey along the way and aren't in that mindset, I think you're going to get, depressed after you've achieved something. It's like, well, what next?
That's what my fear is with kids who like have to go to college to play a sport and then go professional. It's like eventually you hit something and it's like you're going to feel like you're at the dead end.
Right. And even if it's you accomplish all your dreams, if you didn't enjoy like what it took to get there, then it kind of means you had a little bit of a miserable life. And that's not what we're after. We're after for, an inspirational, maximized life.
People always ask me, how are you so happy? And I'm like, for the most part, I am actually very happy. And I'm just like, why be sad? Why be grumpy? Why not be nice to someone? Like, you're going to get more joy out of being joyful than anyone else. So just make your life what you want it to be. And if you're not happy, then change something, find something. Maybe you need to move your body more. Maybe you need a new job. Maybe you need new friends. It's a lot easier said than done. Those things are very hard to find, very hard to come by, but you can make it happen if it's a priority.
I have a great quote to go along with this one as well.
He's a quote man today.
These are quotes that I have read it many different times, came to my mind, and I'm not just like, I wasn't going just like, what's a good quote that goes with this? These are quotes that I've heard and like I remember, but I'm reading them because I want to make sure that I get them right. Okay, the man who loves walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination. That's Lao Tzu. The man, I'll read that again.
That's us.
The man
I'm
who,
the man who loves the destination, and you're the man who loves walking.
yeah, the man who loves walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination.
Mm-hmm. That's facts.
That's facts.
Yep.
Yeah, that is literally Danielle and me when it comes to walking. Like on a hike, Danielle, I could walk. I love the journey of the hike. Every little bit, whether it's, the part of the hike where you're starting in the forest and you can't see anything cool. I like that. I also like, the really cool view that you get when you make it to the top of the mountain. I enjoy the entire process of that. Therefore, like, I'm not even counting the miles. It almost doesn't matter how far it is.
This is making me think of like a lot of women in today's society do something for the gram, for the Instagram, for the photo. So they're going somewhere, they're dressing up, they're gonna order a specific like milkshake or cookie for the photo. And then they didn't enjoy all the things that got them there. They simply did it for the destination. So with that, I would say, I don't know. Maybe balance is key with that. It's okay to do something for a photo. It's okay to go somewhere specifically because you saw someone else do it, but also do it because you want to do it.
And I think it's just paying attention to like the little things, about it. And so say, it's going to just, you're in the car going to like a specific destination, whether you're going to get ice cream for this cool photo or a cookie, or you're, on a hike or whatever it is, pay attention to the little things, whether it's, you're with your significant other, that time in the car or whatever, you can use that to get to know each other a little better, to have good conversations. Like, even if you're in traffic, don't view it as the negative. These things are not, fun and is boring. Take those things as, I'm going to make something good of this.
My next one is something I am not good at.
Oh, what is it?
Okay, I don't have a catchy little phrase for it, but like delegate and trust other people to help you. I am not a trusting person. You have to gain my trust. I trust no one.
You don't trust me?
Not when I first met you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if a stranger, like anyone, I don't trust anyone until you give me reason to trust you.
I'm the opposite.
And yeah, you and my mom.
I'm a golden retriever.
Yeah.
I trust all the strangers.
Yeah, I am not. So I'm very skeptical. And if I guess I could say like I'm controlling, like I want something done a specific way and I know how to do it. And so to trust someone else to do it is very hard for me. But if you're trying to accomplish big things and grow a business, for example, for us, it's like I need help. I can't do it all on my own. So I had to learn to delegate and trust other people to help me grow what I wanted to. And it has paid off. We have Ensley, who is amazing, Nick, who is amazing, and like it's so incredible like how we've gotten here. But you do have to be careful because you could trust the wrong people and then it could get you somewhere bad, or I don't know, you could waste money or like time or maybe a friendship, whatever it may be. That can be really hard. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to do it. And again, I guess that kind of goes back to the failure thing of you're trying to trust people and delegate, but sometimes you might fail at that and it's kind of like a cycle.
I think something that has helped you with this is you seem a little bit more willing to delegate like your weaknesses, things that you're maybe not as good at,
For sure.
or that you don't enjoy. And so that part makes it a little easier. It's still not hard to give up the control because, sometimes it's like, even if they can do it better, like I know that it's going to get done right if I'm doing it. But you know what? You have skill sets and you should lean into those, but you also have things that you're not as good at and other people are better at. And when you're building a team, whether it's in your, relationship with your spouse or it's, you're building a business, you eventually have to say, you know what, that person's really good at that. I'm going to let them take the responsibility and the lead on this one.
You're very right. That is what I have done. And I feel like thinking about parenthood, we're constantly thinking about what's it going to be like with a kid here, because the kid now needs to be cared for, our house has to be taken care of, and now our business has to run. So we're going to have to delegate something to someone, and it's deciding what that is. Are we going to hire someone new to help with the business? Are we going to hire someone to help us with the kid? Or are we going to hire like a housekeeper? Like whatever that may be, we are not physically capable of doing it all. And so where are we going to delegate the help? And that's kind of like our current state of deciding.
Yeah, I think a lot of people struggle with delegating.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
Well, it's hard to, like, as a woman who's going to be a mom, you know, I don't want to lose my identity in my work, and I want to be a working mom still, but I also want to be the one to raise my kid and care for them. And I want to do both at the same time, but it would be very hard to do both well at the same time. So you got to pick and choose a little bit.
Compromise. Balance.
Yeah, balance.
Okay, my next one is also something that I very much struggle with, and that is do not care that much about what people think, particularly strangers.
You definitely struggle with this.
I definitely struggle with this. And I don't know if it's that I want to be liked or what it is. The thing is like even, this is a very...
You want to satisfy other people, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm a
people pleaser.
A people pleaser.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best word. I'm a people pleaser. But even I'm a people pleaser to someone that I'm not even interacting with.
Yeah.
Like I get embarrassed filming in public sometimes. And that I've gotten better at that, but like I'm not even talking to the person. I think, I'm scared of the judgment of others.
Mm-hmm.
Scared of the judgment of others and a people pleaser.
That's a common thing.
But this is one of those things that like the more that I don't think you can ever totally get over this. I do think again, we're hardwired for this. I think, people a long time ago, we were in small, tight-knit communities, and it was very advantageous to figure out ways to get along with the group and to be liked. And if you didn't like, if people didn't like you or you acted bad or something, and they, shunned you, you'd get thrown kind of out in the wilderness and die. So we don't live in those...
Morbid.
Yeah, we don't live in those circumstances anymore, but we still have that fear of like, I want people to like me. I don't want to be ostracized by the group. And I think that is, healthy to an extent, but for most of us, and definitely me, you let that go. I let that go way too much. And that has held me back from some of like the biggest things that I've wanted to really honestly, like dreams that you want to pursue. There are so many, I think more dreams are killed by the fear of what other people think than almost anything else.
I always think that Nick would be a great public speaker, inspirational speaker, but you hold yourself back because you say that you're not good at it, and probably you're worried about what people are going to think when you're saying something or like people looking at you, but you would be really good at that.
I feel that I'm very comfortable, and like in situations like this, I'm a lot more comfortable, like one-on-one talking and that type of stuff. But like, I definitely have that fear of public speaking, and it probably is mostly around like what the audience and people are thinking about like what I'm saying and all of that. The other like sub point, and Dani kind of already said this earlier, but this goes along with just do the thing. Don't let what other people think about like your dreams or what you want to do stop you from doing them. Go do the thing. Whether you want to start the business, quit the job, whatever it might be, don't let the thought, particularly of strangers, but even other people, what you want more than anybody else. And even if it's your parents, don't let what they're going to think stop you from making those big decisions. Even though it's really tough, do it for you.
And with that, I feel like balance is key because you also have to be realistic at the same time. Do you have time to do this? And do you have money to do this? And those are the two major things that usually take any decision in life. And if you don't, then how can you get there? Or maybe you can't decide to do that. And sometimes that's sad too. Especially like if money is holding you back from doing something, like that sucks.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Well, that gets into like there's always certain realities, and we all have constraints.
Yeah.
But just because we have constraints doesn't mean that we can't still work towards something.
So because the like caring what other people think is something you still struggle with, like you're telling your younger self that, but really I feel like with that one, you're telling yourself that now.
Oh, all of these I'm telling myself now. That's kind of the whole purpose of this exercise.
Do you have like any like ideas of like how you can implement something with that?
Well, I think this is actually a Steve-O thing. And I don't know if I was with you talking about this with somebody, but if you guys don't know, Steve-O is kind of like, he did all these crazy stunts. And what he would do when he was really scared to do something, he'd say 1, 2, 3, go. And you don't think about it.
That was what Keelan was talking about.
Yeah, Keelan. It was Keelan, yes. And I think that is like, Keelan, thank you. This is, and Steve-O, thank you.
On his podcast.
On his podcast. That is such good advice for getting over these things, like where you're scared about what other people are going to think. Don't think about it. Just do it. Count to 3. Do it. And so I think it's still easier said than done. You still have the fear. And that's the thing that I think is hard is people with a lot of this stuff, particularly that you want the fear to go away. And even the best public speakers, performers, all of them, they still get nervous and are scared before they're going to go do whatever the thing is. The difference is they don't let the fear stop them. They do it anyways.
So you're not going to let the fear stop you anymore?
Don't let the fear stop you. 1, 2, 3, do it.
Okay, new year, new Nick. Okay, my last one is going to be shocking to you.
Okay.
Continuous learning is key.
Okay, Danielle has turned into me. That's like my thing.
Nick doesn't think that I learn
No, that is not true at all.
because I don't read books. However, I am continuously learning, and I feel like it's essential, especially in what we do. If you are in a traditional job and you just, keep the gears moving, then it could be easy to get in a rut and not feel like there's something to learn. So that's why it's important to have a hobby or something new that's interesting to you, because it is so important to keep your brain engaged and always be learning something new. And for us, like, our business would not be here today if we were not continuously learning marketing techniques, new business techniques. But not only that, like how to embroider, how to make a dog bandana, how to use a sewing machine. Like, those are basics in our business that we had to learn how to do. And I mean, for example, someone literally messaged me yesterday asking about their embroidery machine, and it's like, it's so easy to just turn and have someone tell you the answers. And it's like, sometimes you have to put in the work and actually, figure it out on your own, because that's how you're going to learn how to do it better than anyone else. If I tell you how I do it, I'm self-taught. I have no idea how to embroider either. I only know how to do it my way. So I could be doing it a long, slow, hard way. But if you put in the work to do what you need to do, you might figure out how to do it even better.
Yeah, it's like learning, struggling, and just, the practice. You have to do all those things to like really like have something stick with you. If somebody just tells you the answer, whether it's for a test or how to do something, that will maybe help you get the answer right, right then, but it's not gonna stick with you.
And like, we created our baby registry already, and our friends are like, how did you know what to put on there? It's like, I've been watching YouTube videos like every night trying to figure out what I want for my nursery, my baby, and all that stuff. And they're like, okay, you can just tell me what to put on there. And I'm like, but what if it's not the right thing for you and your situation? Like, there's so many different products and different things, and it'll add up. It's expensive. So you got to figure out what's best for you, and you're going to have to put in the time to figure out what is best for you.
I think a lot of us, and I actually had this exact thought, like after I took my last test in school, but so many of us think once school is over, I'm done. I never have to do this again. I never have to like learn again. And that is like true from a test taking standpoint, but if you're not learning, you're basically, I feel like if you're not improving, this is all things in life, but learning specifically, if you're not improving, you're going backwards.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. And so the other thing about learning that is really cool, learning more than anything compounds. So, where it might not feel like and I think this is like a very good example for reading one book, you might learn some good stuff, but nothing probably groundbreaking. You're not a genius now and know all this stuff. But if you read one book a month and you do that over the course of 10 years, 20 years, that adds up over time.
And I feel like, is this a hot take? You can learn on TikTok. Nick's like, you spend a lot of time on TikTok, but I'm constantly learning on there. And, lots of reviews on things and how-tos and Cricut hacks and how to do this with your vinyl and like best practices for your baby. Like, there's like so much you can learn. And obviously a lot of it is opinionated, but that's part of learning too, is collecting other people's life advice and then making your own decision.
No, I think there's so many places that you can learn. TikTok, YouTube, reading books, audiobooks, however you want to learn. Podcast. Go learn, soak it up. I think the biggest thing with the learning is you just got to be curious. It seems weird to me that there's people out there that don't have that natural curiosity, but you just got to stay curious. Stay like a kid.
It's because it takes effort.
Yeah, stay like a kid that's a sponge that wants to soak up every bit of knowledge. And a cool hack with that is if you're like that, particularly in conversations with other people, whatever, you almost always will have a great conversation if you're talking with somebody and you just show genuine interest in whatever they're talking about, particularly and if you have that, like, I have the genuine curiosity to learn about what you're talking about.
Okay, drop us with your last one.
Okay. My last one is decide on your values and stick to them.
Ooh.
And so I think this one's really important because we have to make so many decisions every single day. Some very big, some not big at all. Like, what am I going to wear today? But with the values, that's kind of like your code of ethics. Like, what am I going to live by? And when you have those, it makes all your decisions so much easier. You'll never get in a situation that, or you're much less likely you'll get into a situation that you regret, or you're like, why did I, do that? Or why did I act that way? If you have your values and like, particularly if you're verbal with them with people, like, I want to be an honest person. Well, any situation that is going to lean towards you having to be dishonest, you're just not going to ever act that way.
A lot of people end up making friends that sway them and change their values. And I think it is important to have friends that have different opinions and different views. And, it's good to have people who are different. However, if they have something that is drastically different in a value,
like a core
value, that's where it can become troublesome, because it could turn you into someone that you're not and make you, and then later on you look back and you're like, how did I become this person? This isn't who I wanted to be, because this isn't what I believe in. And it all is because you got involved with the wrong people.
Yeah. Your values should really kind of be like the litmus test that you, particularly all the big decisions that you like put them through. And if it goes against your values, you should just know the answer is no. This is so much easier said than done, because particularly like if you have a situation that comes up, you're like, oh, I think this really gets hard for people when like money's involved or things like that. Like, oh, maybe I got offered this job or this business opportunity and like it's going to be, a lot more money or a great opportunity, but like they don't share the same values as you. It's very easy to talk yourself into these situations that are not aligned with your values, and you will not be happy with yourself if you go down that road.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like I think the earlier you can identify what those values are, and you might be sitting here listening, well, I don't know, what values do I want? Like, it's hard. I think a very good thing to do is to pick somebody. This could be, your parents. This could be, a person you look up to in the world. Look at that person, say, okay, what values do I think they hold? Do they seem like a very honest person? Are they a very faithful person? Whatever it is, and just kind of list out what you think values they have and then try to emulate that.
I feel like that is some great advice. You're leaving me inspired to go figure out what my core values are.
Oh, wow.
And we're growing our family, so our values are really important, bringing a child in and figuring out what that's going to be like.
Yeah, I think we get so caught up in like the day-to-day busyness of life that sometimes we like don't think about some of the bigger, more like fundamental core beliefs about us as people and our personalities, and your values are like part of your core.
I hope that y'all actually go, even if you don't write it down, but writing it down really helps. And I know journaling can be really weird, especially if you're not used to it, but write down some things that you can reflect back on, even if it's from 1 year ago. What is like something that you feel like can help you to where you are now or where you want to be? And, kind of do this exercise for yourself. What would you tell your younger self?
Yeah, I challenge you to do that. And if you want to take it a step further, talk about this with somebody, whether it's your, partner, whether it's your parents or just a friend, talk to them about, these are kind of the 5 things that I wrote down that I wish I could tell my younger self that I'm trying to work on, and, see what they say. And I think that, a lot of times you'll find some really interesting advice, and it'll be very specific to you, because the things that you kind of saw as we talked, the things that we wrote down are things that we struggle with today.
And this will help with your continuous learning, because maybe it will cause you to go learn how to do something differently or learn what a core value is and what yours are going to be. So also don't forget to continuously learn. Maybe you can go find a book or YouTube channel that you enjoy watching where you can learn.
Be a sponge.
Be a sponge.
Stay curious.
And thank you guys for listening. We love y'all so much, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.